In this video, I want to talk again about automatic upcasting. So what I'm showing on the screen now is the code from a previous example where we looked at upcasting that F# sometimes does automatically. Just to very quickly recap what we said, we had this function dispose here that took an iDisposable as an input. And even though we created two objects here that were of other types, HTTP client and HTTP listener, which both extend iDisposable, but nevertheless are of different types, we were able to call the dispose function on these objects directly without explicitly converting them to iDisposable types before. Just to show you again that that works, let me execute this and we'll just see that it runs through without any issues. So everything executed fine, we can close the program. What I want to talk about today is sometimes this upcasting, this automatic upcasting is not done in F#. So to show you one example of this, let me actually remove some of this code. I only need the first two open statements here. And let's create a disposable variable like this. I would implement this by an if statement. So I would say if, let's do date time dot today dot day of week. So let's just say if today is a Monday, so like this, then let's try to return a new web client like this. Otherwise, we will return a new HTTP listener. All right, so this would be an alternate example of something where F# technically speaking could upcast the things we do and then return an iDisposable into this variable name here. But you can see right now that it doesn't do that. It says the value disposable is of type web client, which is our first variable here. But this else statement gives an error. So we don't have the same type in these two branches of the if expression. And in fact, it says down here that all branches of an if expression must return values implicitly convertible to the type of the first branch, which here is web client. Now, this is a problem that will cause F# to crash if we try to execute this, as you can see here. But what we can do in these cases is actually cast these values explicitly. So sometimes F# will not provide the upcast automatically, and the exact alternatives will be listed in the video description for that because, well, it's hard for you to remember the exact ones, but at least you have a reference for whenever that happens. I would then cast these to iDisposable directly, like this, and iDisposable here as well. And when I do that, you can see that the error that we had before disappears, and this becomes an iDisposable. And just to also confirm that this works, let me execute the code and make sure that we get a correct output. So everything worked, we can close the window, and that's it. So sometimes in F#, you will need to provide explicit casts because there is no way for the compiler to really figure out what it is you want, whether you want it to be upcasted or not. So sometimes it doesn't do it automatically. But there are cases where it does apply as well. So the way you would interact with that is pretty much just looking at what cases does it happen in, what cases does it not, and tailor your approach thereafter.